This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Bad Trip, a sorta kinda new comedy film from Kitao Sakurai that combines a buddy comedy, a road trip, and real world prank comedy. Chris is a schlub working in Florida whose high school crush ends up walking in on his job one day. She lives out in New York and politely invites him to visit an art gallery she's hosting, inspiring him to quit his job and see her. He corrals his friend Bud to join him, and together they set off in a car belonging to Bud's sister Trina, a criminal who has escaped from prison and is now trying to track them down. All the while, unsuspecting people in real life find themselves at the whim of the other three's mostly improvised antics. As you can guess from that last bit, the film doesn't put much stock in its own story, with much more focus on the comedy antics as well as the docu-fiction premise. It makes everything feel like a late-night prank comedy show, though one with an ongoing narrative rather than semi-random vignettes. That said, this approach does have a few drawbacks, the most apparent being characters often repeating themselves for the sake of presenting context and backstory to new prank victims in different locations. It makes sense, logistically, but it gets a bit annoying over time. There's also a bit of an issue with the tone of the comedy, relying more on grossing out or horrifying onlookers than other means of stunt work or irony, leading these individual scenes to become a bit predictable in how they're going to end. That said, it gives the film a rather surreal silliness to it, what with how extreme some of the jokes end up being, that it brings this issue back around to being hilarious, thanks in part to the variety of reactions that the prank victims have, from shock and disbelief to attempting to intervene or even fight back. The technicals of Bad Trip help to keep this a rather immersive experience, primarily through the use of hidden or secluded cameras filming events from multiple angles, high and low. It makes for a rather rough viewing experience, watching some fuzzy security camera footage one moment, before switching to something shot from afar with a smartphone or an actual digital camera. But after a while, this becomes normal and you can adjust easily. There are even a few shots where you can see the camera people trying to remain covert, but that's besides the point. All of the footage is edited together pretty well, with only a few mishaps that cause some whiplash, but otherwise kept together thanks to a smooth flow being maintained between shots, with a few tricks that help futz with the actual timing of scenes compared to how they probably played out in real life. Overall, I think that Bad Trip is actually pretty fun, even if it's not as tightly composed as it could have been. And I think that the central concept of its creation is something worth expanding upon in a future comedy. Bad Trip, Kitao Sakurai, 2021. 3 stars. I'd say to give it a try. You might like it, you might not, but it's really up to your own tastes. Anyways, that's it for me. If you liked this review, leave it a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. As always, subscribe to the channel for more reviews. It's been a while since I've seen a road movie. I remember them being a lot more calm, though.